Putin's plan in eastern Ukraine is becoming a lot clearer tonight. One of his top generals appeared to admit Russia's ambitions. Here's the Ukrainian defense spokesperson explaining it. Watch the subtitles.
Противник проводить наступальні дії у східній операційній зоні, основною метою яких є встановлення повного контролю над територією Донецької і Луганської областей, а також утримання сухопутного коридору з окупованим Кримом.
If the lights come up, we're going to show you the maps. So far, there we go. Now we have lights, and now we'll show you the maps of what's happening in eastern Ukraine right now. Obviously, the Russians have sort of given up on this area. They're concentrating here. Big Ukrainian force all here that the Russians are trying to encircle and crush. Very important that Mariupol here, which was the last Ukrainian holdout in this whole circle, appears to have fallen. There was a flag raised, pro-Russian flag, over Mariupol just in the past couple of hours as Vladimir Putin declared victory. I want to bring in Dmitri Alperovitch, founder of the Silverado Policy Accelerator. Dmitri, as we look at this, you lay this map on top of a couple other maps, both Ukraine's mineral resources and natural resources, oil, gas, and the like, the areas that Russian is traditionally spoken and the like. It lays out pretty well. Is this Vladimir Putin's endgame?
Well, I'm sure he would like a lot more. I'm sure he would like to take Kiev, but that is not realistic anymore. I don't think it's even realistic to try to take Mykolaiv or Odessa. So this is as much as he can possibly get, and that's enough for him to declare victory and say that he's accomplished his goals.
The Russians had tried to move out of Crimea to the west and obviously take Odessa, and there's a thought they tried to link up with a bunch of Russian separatists who are here over in Moldova. So far, they've been blocked by the Ukrainians here, and obviously this force here, and here still has straight supply lines from the NATO bases in Poland and then coming over. What is the chance that the Russians are going to really make an all-out effort to take all of the Ukrainian coastline here?
I think very low. They just don't have the forces. They don't have logistics. In fact, the Ukrainians are on the counterattack in the south. We just had a report from the Ukrainian presidential advisor, not yet confirmed, that the Ukrainians were able to hit a command center in Kherson in the south and kill up to 50 Russian officers. So they're having trouble just holding on to the territory they have, much less try to expand it.
Yeah, Kherson is right here. And that you mentioned that report. It was a drone strike, allegedly, which would add up to the number of Russian officers, simply add to the number of Russian officers that have been killed. Do the Russians really, though, need to take Odessa, or can they just choke off the Black Sea down here with their warships? And it doesn't matter if Ukraine has a port or not because they can't trade through it.
You're exactly right, Leland. This is the key issue of this war, I believe, at this point. It almost doesn't even matter strategically what is happening on the ground in terms of their forces in Donbass, their forces in Kherson. As long as they can blockade the Black Sea, and they have surface ships, they have submarines, they have air capabilities to enforce that blockade, they're choking off the Ukrainian economy, and that bodes really badly for the Ukrainians down the road.
Right, and the Ukrainian president is now saying he needs $7 billion a month just to prop up his economy on top of all the aid that's coming in militarily. As you point out, the longer this goes on, the higher that number gets dollar-wise. The past day or so, these pictures have come out of Vladimir Putin, of him meeting with his defense minister. We'll put them up on the screen. They appear to show Vladimir Putin not anywhere near the shirtless man on horseback that we're used to seeing. He's slouching over. He doesn't really appear all that engaged or powerful, grabbing onto the table. Are we making too much of this? And if so, or if not, why would he allow a picture that's this sort of humbling and weak appearing to come out?
Well, the guy always slouches. You may recall when he was meeting with President Obama or President Trump, he would slouch in the chair. This is his way of showing that he's a dominant alpha male in the relationship with whoever he's meeting. So this is par for the course for him. This reminds me a lot of the study called Kremlinology that we had during the Cold War, where people were looking for the slightest signs of what was going on in the Kremlin to try to predict the future. It wasn't working very well then. I don't think this Putinology study is working well now. Look, the guy's almost 70 years old, so I'm sure he has health problems, but I looked at that whole video, 12 minutes of it, meeting with Shoigu, and he looked fine to me. Yes, maybe he's clutching the table, but we've seen videos from him recently at the rallies, of course, where he looked just fine. So I think it's probably wishful thinking to think that the guy's about to croak.
For a while that you and I talked, we kept saying that the longer this goes, the better it is for the Ukrainians. Has that now flipped once again?
Well, it certainly is going well for them on the ground because the Russian offensive is not going particularly great. Even in the Donbass region, the Ukrainians are counterattacking. So that is going well for them. The issue now is the economics. If Putin is able to hold to the territory that he's got, particularly Mariupol and some of the southern areas linking into the Crimea, he can declare victory, and then he can continue focusing on starving the Ukrainians economically, destroying their economy, and hoping that he can win in the long run, not through his military, but through the economic blockade.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time the Russians have tried to starve the Ukrainians out. Dmitri, good to see you as always. Thanks so much. Dmitri Alperovitch, co-founder of the Silverado Policy Accelerator. We'll talk to you soon, all right? Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.